Hello, everyone. I'm Sam Eckmann of Gold Derby, and here with me is Arian Moayed, who is starring in A Doll's House, the latest revival on Broadway. And I have seen a lot of different variations on A Doll's House over the years, but I think you may have the funniest version of Torvald I've ever seen. So I
Hmm.
would love if you can talk about finding humor in that character and why that was important to you.
I don't know if this answer is going to be the answer that you want to hear,
That's
but
okay.
to be honest with you, all of us, including Jamie and Amy, when we were in the rehearsal room, we didn't really think of it as a comedy or a drama. To be blunt with you, we just went after the truths, and why a person would do this, why would a person would behave this way, and to be really blunt, when we did our first preview, we didn't even know there would be one laugh because we just weren't sure what it is. And last night we had a show, or yesterday matinee we had a show, and there was no laughter at all in the entirety of the show. No one laughed
Wow.
once. It's a very When people laugh or when people cry, it really goes to a testament, I think, of what we've created. Hopefully, what we've created is we're going after so many deep truths, and you guys and gals see the show and put your DNA on our truths as if it's a fact, but it's your DNA. So if it's funny to you, that's amazing. If it's sad to you, we also have people that in nights where it's like huge, uproarious laughter, um, where people say to us, "Why was everyone laughing? I didn't think any of that was funny." And I think that goes a little bit more. I think I think it goes a little bit to like what Succession is as well. To be honest with you, is that we are our job is not to try to carve out laughs or to try to make you cry or to feel. Our job is to tell these truths as deep as possible. And so some people they think that's hilarious, and some people they don't. I have two daughters, um, 14 and 12, and there are people that are of our age right now, parents in the neighborhood, they're getting divorces, and the mother of the ones that the wife and the husband have completely different DNAs. They just came through a divorce, and they come see a doll's house. I guarantee you, it's been happening. They have a different understanding of what is funny and what's not funny.
Mhm.
And someone, so I say that as also as a compliment because I'm glad that someone's finding some of this stuff funny. And when we're on stage and we're doing this thing, and some nights, like let's yesterday matinee, I felt it was so tense, that room. It was just like the most uncomfortable 1,000 people in a room. Like I feel like in the Eastern Seaboard. It's just like so uncomfortable. No one's laughing. Everyone's really tense. No one's moving. The silences and the quiet are so. And in the middle of all that, I can feel oddly that they're kind of on Torvald's side, weirdly. Like in the middle of the show, I was like, I think I'm like charming them too much. And so then in the middle of the show, and we all kind of do this in our own subtle ways, and it's subtle. It's not like we're also like, well, they got to make sure that this guy is not a great guy either. So then all of a sudden you turn up the lever a little bit in a section about him being just like this toxic masculine, person. And so you have to like maneuver it. So it's a long answer to your very simple question, but I think, I think, I think there are certain things that Torvald does that are hilarious to me and hilarious to many people. But I also respect people that find that as really deeply disturbing.
Yeah.
And I have to like balance, when we're doing the autograph lines every night after the show, there's so many people that want autographs, and every person has a different understanding of what's going on in the play. And then I remember this is maybe like 3 or 4 nights ago, someone was like, "I just want to let you know, I like you, but I fucking hate Torvald. I hate him." And the lady next to her is like, "How can you say that? How can you say that you hate him?" What's there to hate about him? He's just clueless. He doesn't know the society that he lives in. He doesn't know. So, it's like, and oddly, I give this as I the same thing happens on Succession. People love Kendall. People fucking hate Kendall. People love Stewie. They hate Stewie. They love Logan. They hate Logan. It's a
Yeah.
little bit of. I remember, funny though. We did our first like designer run in the space in the rehearsal house, and John on the lighting team and Ben in the sound team. After we're leaving, there was no laughs. No one was laughing. No one was doing it. No one moved. And I was just like, what the hell? Did we like it? Did we not like it? And he's like, oh, we loved it. Da, da. And then I said, will there be laughs? And I remember Ben being like, I think so. He wanted to say no. And then John, the lighting designer, was like, oh, yeah, there's laughs. So, again,
Well, I
it's a
think,
kind of like a cool mix.
yeah, I think probably a huge reason, why it lends itself to people putting their own DNA into it, as you said, is because this staging is sort of, it's very unconventional. It's a sparse stage. There's a lot of literal blank space there for people to put their own ideas in. You even have scenes where you may not be facing your scene partner even for some scenes. What does that do to you in terms of putting your DNA and your take on a scene, given this unconventional presentation?
It's both like completely new, completely difficult. Act three is a real beast for Torvald. I mean, it is literally about 75,000 different emotions. He he's drunk. He wants to, has make love to his wife. He gets interrupted. His best friend is dying. They're not going to have sex. He's going to go home and sleep in his own room. The letter comes out. He destroys her. I mean, just like on and on and on and on and on. And with a regular play, with like a set and all that, you have places where you're like, oh, well, this area is going to be for this, and this area is going to be for this. But now it's the exact opposite, Sam. I'm completely exposed to you. You are now watching me read a letter, me wanting to cry when I find out Rank is dying, you scream, apologize. Like, you're doing all these things, and it's so open. So what it really forces me and Jess to do, especially in that like monstrous, act three, is that it really puts a lot of focus on us making sure that we are connected, even just by our words. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little section that's a kind of a tricky section. It's he finds out that Rank is dying. He's really sad about that. And the only way that he's going to be able to make him feel better, which we all do, is to make love. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing
Mm-hmm.
that he knows. So he goes, looks at Torvald and says, "Oh, baby, I can't hold you tight enough," and has to meet. And so, like, and you're watching all of that unveil on us. And and I, in those moments, focus on the words, focus on Jessica, and just focus in on just focusing. And just let the journey like guide you. And every night it's different. When I say the famous three words, I don't want to give away for any of your listeners or viewers, or readers, or all of them, is that I say these three big words that all of a sudden, and every night there is an audible gasp that is so shocking. And I don't know where you were sitting, but in the first 3 or 4 rows, all of a sudden, I think just like unconsciously, I can hear people are crying because of the rage and the just how off the hinge he is, and how, childish and violent and terrifying that moment is. And all I can do is focus in on Jessica, because I can tell the audience is fucking upset. I can tell, but all I can do is like, Jessica, 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 words, 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 words. And we're very simpatico actors. We really, I have the extreme privilege of working with some unbelievable actors in my career right now. and I have for a long time. And right now, especially, I'm just working with like a bunch of like, phenoms, and Jessica Chastain is at the top of that heap. I mean, she is so. I'm just getting chills right now. We are toe to toe. We do not back each other. We fall in love with each other, and then we hate each other every. I mean, it really feels very. I'm just very lucky to have her as a partner, to be blunt with you.
Yeah. The two of you are great together. I would love to talk a little bit more about that because you guys, I mentioned comedy before, but you both share incredibly intense moments together throughout this play. I mean, the letter scene is insane, but she's doing it all sitting in a chair the whole time. What is that like for you when you basically have much more movement? How does that change the dynamic when your core scene partner is stationary?
It was tricky. It was tricky. Actually, I have some. I'm going to give you a little exclusive here. It was tricky. It was very tricky. It was very. There's a scene where I come down to her, and it's after I say that I fired Torvald, and then I've come down to her, and I'm saying, and meaning, I will do anything for you. I will do anything for you. And I always found it was the chair was in my way of that scene. I always said that. I was like, I just feel like this chair is in my fucking way here. And I just want to like get intimate with her. And what's amazing about it is that, and what I learned about that moment as I kept on just trying to figure out how to like maneuver this, is that the metaphor that we're going for, that she's stuck and she's on that chair, it actually amplified and opened it up in a way, because now I have her in the chair. I get to say these, I tell her that I love her. And again, like many men, I think, not realizing that I have so much control over her by saying the right after I say, I love you and I'll do anything for you and we'll fight. And then I say, now go practice your dance. I'll have my door closed. You're not bothering me. And that's a hard thing to maneuver, Sam, because those are obviously controlling male toxic kind of like oppressive things that I'm putting on her. But I can't lean into that. Otherwise, the audience is going to be like, oh, so I'm maneuvering something there. And the chair actually helped me do that because we were so intimate and so close. And I can like wrap my arms around her. The exclusive part I want to tell you is our first preview was on a Monday. I think it was like the 13th or 14th or 15th of something like February. We can Google that. It was a Monday. And on the Thursday of Tech, I was also shooting Succession that whole week. I was shooting Succession from 4 a.m. to 2. And then from 2 o'clock to whatever, 11 o'clock, I was going to the theater. And on that Thursday, I swear to God, I was the only person in Act 3 that actually didn't sit in the chair. I actually got to move around and do whatever the fuck I wanted. So everything that you saw, I got to jump up and down, stomp, yell, go behind her, scream in her face. Like I got to do whatever I want for the 5.5 weeks of rehearsal. And on the Thursday of Tech, Jamie comes up to me and is like, I was thinking about him sitting. I was like, oh, okay, cool. For what section? He goes, the whole thing. And I looked over to Jess, and Jess is like, welcome to my world. And at first I was like, I'm going to try it because I trust Jamie implicitly. And at first I was like, I don't want to fucking sit this whole time. But the moment I sat, it totally made it more tense, more difficult, more of a challenge, more opening, more revealing. And it just put us into this like war that I think is oddly enough more dangerous. I get so many people saying to us, it's like when the blow up happens, it's like he's going to destroy her. But I'm just sitting in a chair and I'm not even using my hands. My hands are like clasped to one each other. But that goes to show you the power of the words and what Jamie's direction was to make that happen, that moment happen.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Succession. I would love to just ask you about that before we wrap up, because we're entering final season. And this has been a huge period of your life where people are enthralled by Stewie. It got you an Emmy nomination. What does it mean to you? What is this like saying goodbye to this chapter?
I mean, truthfully, it's just really sad. It's just we love hanging. I mean, we love doing it. We love doing it. We all love each other. We all care for each other. We all protect each other. We're all like siblings in a way. And that's just not the cast, that's the crew as well. So in that respect, it's just a bummer that we're not going to have those moments being in Croatia or Italy or whatever the fuck, hanging out. I do believe that part of why I want to do this, outside of just telling like truth to art and truth to power, but it's also a little bit of just the hang. I just love hanging with these people. I think I love backstage more than I love anything else. You know what I mean? So that's going to be really sad. But at the same time, artistically, with my artistic hat on, um, it can't go on forever. The show can't go on forever. Otherwise, we're going to dilute it. And Jesse cares too much about the art to dilute it. And in that respect, leaving everyone on a real high, I think it's going to be more rewarding than, season 6, where it's all of a sudden Connor's turn to, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Listen, man,
Yeah.
we would love to do this forever.
Well, maybe there'll be a Stewie spinoff.
Stewie spinoff would
is
be,
there?
hey, Jesse, I know you're on the Gold Derby website right now. Jesse, please make the Stewie spinoff, please. I would love it. I would love it more than life. I would love to be in the Tom and Greg spinoff. I'd love to be in the Jerry and Roman spinoff. I'd love to be in the Shiv and Tom spin. I mean, I'll be in any of those fucking spinoffs. I love the Stewie spinoff. Totally himself. I mean, whatever. But my gut is that Jesse knows that he's more than just making art. He's making a statement about our society and capitalism. And I think you want to leave that pure. And I think 4 seasons is what he deems necessary.
Yeah.
And we just trust him so implicitly. Like, who are we to be like, you're wrong about this?
And you've been able to sort of bounce back and forth between theater and screen work, and even with your company Waterwell. What do you still plan on? Is that important to have both of those as like ever present things in your life?
I think so. I think I really am more interested in the story rather than the character and or the medium. When I was doing Inventing Anna, Shonda once said to me, "You act like a writer," and I kind of know what she means by that. I'm more interested. It's again going back to Doll's House. Like, I'm more interested in having a cathartic ending in which we realize that we live in a sexist, misogynistic society, and people cheer. And if they hate on Torvald, if half of the audience hates on Torvald as she's leaving, and I'm in the middle of the stage, I feel that that's as great than like being, whatever the opposite that might be. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
To me, it's not about the character in that moment. To me, it's about this is the story that we want to tell. And again, in the Doll's House, when I was offered the part, I was shooting a movie in Budapest. I flew out to Jamie in London to meet with him for the first time, just to get a sense of each other. And we talked about the micro cuts. I was like, I'm not interested in the Torvald that's going to like be a male, go over there, like whatever those period things are. I don't have any relationship to any of that, to be honest with you. We were interested in the micro cuts, all of the micro things that men do to women or people of power do to the less fortunate. And it's the micro paper, the 1,000 paper cuts that bleed you out. And obviously Amy's writing is also going towards that, and Jamie's direction of simplicity is going towards that, and Jessica's active feminism and her own style thing is going towards that. So it all meshes together, and it doesn't matter to me if you love or hate Torvald. It really doesn't, because at the end of the day, it's really important to me that we are telling this story. You know, one challenge as someone that's seen a Dollhouse a million times is, and we don't get it all in this, I don't think, is how can Nora leave her children? We hear that all the time. How can Nora leave her children? How can Nora... And in this production, it seems she's got to do this. We're not questioning that. She's got to do this. And that is a testament of all these amazing artists coming together to tell that story. And so moving forward, I hope to have more of those. I really hope to help tell more of those kind of stories.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait to see what lies ahead. It's wonderful work in A Doll's House. Everyone,
Thank you,
go
Sam.
check it out on Broadway and subscribe to Gold Derby. Make sure you're staying with us the rest of the
You
season.
too,
Arian.
Jesse. Subscribe, Jesse. Just come on.
Thank you, Arian.
Thank you, Sam.